Hello everyone, I'm Day Weather Meteorologist Don Day with your Public Lands Council weekly weather update for this May 4th, 2024. It's being brought to you by WSR Insurance Services Incorporated and also brought to you by Ag Risk Advisors. Well, for many areas in the northern plains and the far west, it's going to be a rough and tumble week of weather as it'll be cold, it'll be windy, it'll be wet. Especially wet across Montana, parts of Wyoming, parts of the Dakotas, into the Pacific Northwest, central and northern California. The northern and northwest areas in particular, there's going to be a lot of wind and colder than average temperatures in many areas of the central and west, while it's going to be quite warm in the eastern areas of the U.S. and the central and the east. Now, we'll see the pattern probably flip, as it will be unsettled and cold maybe through Mother's Day weekend in the west. Then there could be moderating temperatures afterwards, with the colder weather shifting more to the east. In the past week, you can see the nation's midsection, all that red and orange there, significant rains. We still, though, continue to have this persistent dryness along and south of I-70 across New Mexico, southeastern Colorado, southwest Kansas, the panhandle of Texas here, kind of missing out in the moisture, while the Dakotas, Nebraska, the Corn Belt continues to be wet. Some areas of Wyoming and Colorado doing well with moisture, and further back into the Great Basin as well. And yes, we're still getting those late season snows, and for the next week, more late season snows will be coming, especially to the mountains of the central and northern Rockies. This is why we'll start off next week with a deep low. Now, this is what I'm showing you is for Monday. Over the weekend and early next week, this area of low pressure will affect this part of the west here with wind, areas of rain and snow and thunder, and temperatures that'll be quite a bit cooler. By Tuesday, the storm only is in eastern Nebraska, and even by late next week, we still have an area of low pressure and a jet stream causing a large trough in the nation's midsection. This opens the door to Canadian air. So temperatures across a lot of the western and central United States going to be trending colder, while high pressure builds here along the west coast. So over the next 7 days, you can see the warmest weather will be in the east. The coldest weather will be in the west from western Canada through the northern plains and back down into the southwestern United States. So it's going to be a little bit chilly, and I'm afraid to say windy. You see all that orange and red? Those are wind gusts in excess of 50 miles an hour that could occur with this pattern. So there's going to be a lot of wind in the central and western United States to contend with. This is not going to be fun, especially with some strong winds across Montana, Wyoming, into Nebraska, Colorado, into the Great Basin states, down into New Mexico and Texas. Plenty of wind to contend with these storms tracking across the northern U.S. With the precipitation outlook, those northern areas are going to do the best right here. This will be mostly rain, but some of it will fall as snow. More wet for the south central and central areas of the U.S. This rain here in the Pacific Northwest and California and into the Washington, Oregon areas and into Idaho, that will occur with the weekend storm. High pressure will be building in later in the week. And you can see we'll still have the potential for snow to be reaching the plains of Montana, Wyoming, northwest Colorado, into the highest elevations of Utah, Idaho, and back into the Pacific Northwest and Sierra Nevada. So we're not quite done with the snow yet. Temperature-wise, well, as you would expect with that low pressure dominating, we're going to have another week here where the western United States is going to have below average temperatures. We're thinking, though, that after the following weekend, the weekend of the 11th and 12th, the west may finally start to see a warming trend. But until then, it's going to be a little rough and tumble. Have yourself a good week ahead.